Why did you call it Ethel? Let's go back to that.
The why is the really cool question. So thank you for asking that, because normally we get the, well, how did you come up with the name? That's less interesting. The why is that it's an incredibly liberating name. It doesn't mean anything. We can be any group we choose to be, play whatever music we feel like playing. Um, it's a real invitation to the dance for us. It allows us to be completely free as we explore styles and traditions and different colors and different sounds and different musics. So many folks who play these four-string instruments, they get together and they call themselves the such and such string quartet, and they are then bound by what that tradition means to the general public, to the listening audience, and the tradition means all those things to us as well. We just choose not to be bound by that, so that we are then free to jump off the deep end and and fall in the drink, if we will, and really just have a great time playing in whatever space we choose to explore. So that's the real why of the name, and really the root of it just doesn't mean anything. So that's really what it comes down to.
You have on this program called Grace, you have rock, jazz, film music. How do you pull those things all together? What's it like to move between those different genres on the same program?
It's not it's not such a not such a tremendous thing for us to jump from genre to genre, specifically because we've actually designed the program to all fit within this larger exploration of the subject of grace. Um, we certainly do play. I mean, you mentioned Jeff Buckley's Grace, or you mentioned rock and roll. So Jeff Buckley's Grace is we actually start the program with that tune. It's a stunning, mammoth powerhouse rock and roll song, arranged brilliantly by my colleague Kip Jones, and that sets us off. The song is called Grace. It's from from the album Grace, the amazing record by Jeff Buckley. Um, it actually sets us off in a really inspired space because, well, for me, when I'm playing it, I'm sitting there thinking how much I wish Jeff Buckley were still alive, and just thinking, I'm gonna do this guy justice. I'm hoping to do this guy justice. This record, this album means so much to me. This song kicks it all off, and it kicks off our program as well. And it just feels like a beautiful invitation to the state of grace that we hope to embody for the next hour and a quarter. We do then move to different styles of music. As you said, we have meditation. We have a yogic meditation and a shavasana by Mary Ellen Childs. We play this stunning film score by Ennio Morricone for the film The Mission. We do this bright Brazilian fiddle tune called Memory by Marcelo Zarvos. All sorts of different styles, but all different angles on the idea, the subject of grace. So you would have grace in presentation of rhythmic idea, say in Vijay Iyer's piece Mutations. That I believe is in 13/8, and for all you music folks out there, 13/8. I still can't count it, but I've got all these little triangles and slashes that I'm doing my best to keep going there. Yes, I do okay, but there's grace in the ease that you have to present that work. Then we have grace in the subject of a marriage that our dear friend and colleague Carlo Mombelli, a bass player from South Africa, wrote this gorgeous little tune to his wife, and it's a wedding present after I want to say 30 years of marriage. I hope I'm not screwing it up. It may be 20, but a big anniversary present. And he wrote this gorgeous little tune called Song for Sandra, and it's Carlo's love letter to his wife, and there's grace in that loving expression. So when you move from this state of grace that Jeff Buckley sets us up with and Kip so beautifully arranged, and then you ultimately end up in this grace and arithmetic and gorgeous post minimalist looping with Vijay's music, and then bouncing all around in Brazilian fiddle music, and then grace in love. From Carlo's piece, and ultimately, and there are several other pieces as well. But then we close with this really just gorgeous, heartfelt, deeply human expression in the soundtrack from The Mission. It also has one of the world's most famous tunes, Gabriel's Oboe.
What are some of the ways in which playing in a string quartet or any kind of classical ensemble, kind of traditional configuration like this, what are the ways that it's similar to playing in a rock band or a jazz combo? How do those things connect, or do they connect in your mind?
Cool question. I think I'd rather answer more on the specific as it relates to Ethel, and the generalities you can glean from that. Rock groups or jazz combos a lot of times will have writers within their ranks, and Ethel does share that, and that's a real defining factor for us. And actually, our writing informs our playing and our repertoire choices as well, because stylistically we gravitate to certain directions. You can count on Dorothy for a stunning tune from time to time. When she writes something, she writes these funky grooves, and then she's got like a Bruckner-esque ability to write a just gorgeous romantic melody. Kip writes this awesome, just trippy, rhythmically intricate, groovy stuff, and also just totally gorgeous music. And also just a lot of fun to play. Tema, she has kicked off her writing career in grand form. She's really exploring the atmospheric, which she writes, and she comes from a wealth of experience of contemporary performance practice, so she brings that experience into her writing. And for me, you can count on me for all the weird and silly. Every once in a while, I'll write something pretty, but if there's something wrong to be written, that will be me. Those four voices, you put them into the context of a performance ensemble, it would be exactly the same sort of result as it would be in a rock and roll band, as it is with our quartet. That these four very pronounced and committed voices of these four writers are going to, in fact, color the whole process of rehearsing music and performing music.
Let me ask you this, and I won't ask you a general question, but as you, Ralph Farris, founding member of Ethel, think about it, would you like to see more performers involved in the creative aspect of music making?
There are so many answers to that. Way back when, so example, Liszt or Paganini, back in the age of the virtuoso. Those are folks, or even Bach, of course. Those are people who wrote and performed. They also improvised. They did everything. They were full-service musicians. Then, towards the end of the 19th century into the 20th century, we built this, ivory tower. Composers went up the steeple, and then all the performers are worshiping at the base of the tower. Academia then got a hold of composers and performance practice, and then the public got shut out. I would like to see performers realizing that there's more available to them. And I would like them to consider that theirs is an art of communication. that as a musician, we are given one of the greatest gifts on the planet to touch hearts and minds and to connect people. The practice of impressing other musicians with your technical prowess, be it the speed you can move with which you can move your fingers, or the amazing way you can get to the 6 chord, or build a tone row and then invert it and have nobody know. Who cares? Who really cares? Are you moving me? Are you making my mom cry? Are you making a difference in my life when you're writing this music, when you're recording this music, when you're putting pen to paper, when you're touching your lips to that flute? There's no point to me if you're not actually engaging your community and your audience and yourself. It's not about how awesome you are and all your skills and look how clever I am.
Well, Ralph, I really appreciate you taking the time. This is all good stuff. And I know anybody who takes time to look at this interview is going to be very excited to see Ethel perform. And I'm just going to remind everyone that Ethel is performing on Thursday, June 19th at the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. And this is part of Chamber Music Pittsburgh's new Just Summer series. And what a great way to kick it off. I think a lot of the things that you've talked about express a lot of, from what I can tell, Chamber Music Pittsburgh is really hoping for in this series. And so we look forward to hearing and seeing you. And again, just thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to getting to play for you all next in a couple days, right? No, in a week. Something in a week. All right. Thank you.